Posted by you/babybop. Redditors who missed love that was staring them the whole time in their face. What's your story? Slightly off topic because we did end up together, but I hope it brings hope to someone who needs it. I've posted this before, so I'm copying my previous response. We've known each other since birth, since our moms have been best friends for over 40 years. They daydreamed of us growing up and getting married since day one, so of course growing up, DH and I stayed as far away from each other as possible. 3 years ago, he came to my city for a 6-month-long internship. My mom called me up and asked me to show him around, promising me that her and my now mill had given up on any dreams of us ending up together. I agreed to show him around as friends. He called me and asked me about an event we were both likely going to be attending. We talked for like 30 minutes, just catching up. He found me at the event and we started talking and ended up spending the entire evening together, talking for over 5 hours. The next day, he called me at 8 a.m., after we had gotten home at 2:30 a.m., and asked me to go hiking with him. We went hiking, continued talking, and just never stopped. Married for 1.5 years now. And yes, our mothers gloated hard at our wedding. Edit, spelling. That would be Tracy. A long time ago, when dinosaurs ruled the land, I worked at this restaurant as a cook. There was this waitress named Tracy who was way out of my league. In fact, she was way out of everyone's league. Beautiful, classy, intelligent, working on her master's degree while waiting tables, and it seemed like there was a waiting list of much better men lined up to go out with her. Every time she broke up with some guy, she'd move on to a doctor, or a lawyer, or anyone but a cook. We'd all settled on the reality that none of us in the kitchen had a chance. It wasn't that she was stuck up or anything. She was just operating on another level. We became friends. Fast forward a few years, and we had a going away party as she was leaving after earning her degree. I'm not really sure how it happened, but I found myself outside the bar after closing time, saying goodbye to her in the parking lot. It was December, cold as hell, and we embraced. And then she didn't let go. She started to cry. I asked what was wrong, and she said something very much like, "I wish we'd been more than just friends." Holy shit. This woman I'd never asked out because there was no way in hell, was waiting for me to do just that the whole time. I mean, I'm not a complete idiot. I kissed her, and we spent quite a while kissing in that parking lot. A car even drove by and a guy leaned out of the window and yelled encouragement, but the reality was that she was leaving. I'd missed my chance, and that was it. A little over a year later, she came back to town for a mutual friend's wedding, and that intense chemistry between us was still there, but it was just not going to work out. So we said goodbye again, and that was the last time I saw her. I had a near miss recently. I should start off by saying, I'm a very friendly person and I frequently find myself inadvertently flirting. I'm always chit-chatting and joking around with people in other departments at work. I'd been joking a lot with one social group at work lately. One girl, Sarah, had been returning fire with jokes and whatnot. I was after another girl, but I was slowly realizing that it wasn't going anywhere. So I really didn't have anyone else on my radar. Anyways, it was Monday afternoon and I was telling this group a funny story from a wedding I went to over the weekend. The second the story is done, the rest of the group disappears, leaving Sarah and I. She says, "Since you seem like such an expert in weddings, do you want to go as my wedding date in 2 weeks?" All of a sudden everything clicked. She had been flirting with me for the past 3 months. I liked this girl. The girl liked me. We still talk today, and this is how I found out, 2 years later. We both had art. I can't stand art unless it involves metal or wood or something you can use on a regular basis. We helped each other out in that class. She taught me to paint, I taught her how to sew and stitch, she showed me how to sketch, I taught her how to do simple codes on a computer, she taught me how to sculpt, I taught her how to weld, she taught me how to use pastels, I taught her how to knit. It was basically us going back and forth teaching each other things. Well, turns out the whole time, she had liked me. And I liked her too. Both of us thought we'd ruin the friendship if we said anything. So 2 years later, I'm talking to her and she told me she has a BF now. I'm still forever alone. But I know at least one person out there liked me. Was going to physical therapy for shin splints, there was a cute girl interning there. We'd make eye contact and smile every week for 6 weeks but never spoke to each other. Pretty sure my PT caught me staring at this intern several times and would randomly mention what kind of work they had her doing. On my last day I was paying at the front desk, trying desperately to overcome my shyness. The receptionist is about the same age and I contemplate asking her to blind wingman for me. Girl walks up behind the clerk, pauses and breathes a heavy sigh and just stands there. Receptionist is looking down and grinning like a fool while running my card and waiting for me to make a move. The moment passes and girl walks into the back office. Receptionist hands me back my card, still grinning. She waits for me to say something while I stand there like an idiot. I turn around and walk out. Never saw her again. F. I was at the time heartbroken. I was dumped by my first GF and was in a serious depression. I was just depressed for a good 4 months and I was just reflecting and doubting and regretting. But there was someone who I was great friends with that helped me cope and that I shared my feelings with. She was funny, sweet, and kind. During the 4 months I was being a sad sack of shit, she would try to get really close to me and I thought she was just doing it to help me feel better, but it wasn't until that last month that I was noticing her get way more friendly, I guess, with me and more touchy too. The thing was that I kinda had a crush on her, but she turned down every guy who approached her, so I mostly just thought that I didn't have a chance with her and I didn't want to risk the chance that maybe that's just how she is with friends and I didn't want to risk our friendship. But I got the confidence to confront her about it and ask her out, to which she said yes, smiley face. We later talked about those 4 months and she confessed she tried to get my attention while not trying to seem too much like she was into me. BC she thought I didn't want to date BC of my recent breakup. She also had a huge crush on me for a long time and didn't want to be with anyone but me, so she rejected everyone else. I kind of feel stupid for not picking up on her hints for so long and we laugh about it now, but we are happy together. I have had a crush on the girl I still like to this day since I saw her at my grandparents' house. We've known each other for our whole lives. Well, I moved to Texas and she stayed in Georgia. I moved back 6, almost 7 years ago, and we all met up at my grandparents' house to go swimming and play pool. She was beautiful and I fell in love as soon as I saw her. Well, for all that time, I rejected 8 or 9 girls who were really nice. Never told them why. But then I asked the girl I liked out. And well, she said no. Oh boy, 1r/AskReddit I can do. This isn't exactly on topic but I thought I'd give it a shot. So call it BS if you want because it was middle school, but no. I had the biggest crush on this girl in my class, like oh my god. She was cute, funny, her laugh was adorable and ugh, you get the gist. It stayed for about 5 months until I eventually told my friend that oh this is the person I liked, and her eyes got pretty big. Because turns out, apparently she had a crush on me too. She looked at me when I wasn't, daydreamed about me, talked to me but was shy, the whole 9 yards. It was really obvious to everyone in my class but they didn't want to say anything. Now I'm a guy and I was about as dense as the cement inside of a bowling ball, so I had no idea. After 2 days my friend ended up telling the girl I had a crush on that I had feelings for her too, and we talked it out. And eventually we started dating. After a couple months it was pretty good and I couldn't be happier. People said that you two seem like a cute couple and I was so proud that I could call her my girlfriend. I was happy and felt unbeatable because I finally had the girl of my dreams and I felt warm knowing I was cared about. Unfortunately we ended up breaking up after months of dating because she ended up coming out as lesbian. It completely destroyed me and had horrible confidence issues and stuff like that. At the time I suffered from depression and about a month prior my grandfather, who was the main person who raised me and was my closest best friend, had passed away. So this ended up screwing me up in my head pretty bad. And I can't blame her for her being herself, so I took it out on myself.